Hi class, my name is Jenny Kagan. I am an entrepreneurship major at Florida Gulf Coast University, and I'm going to be doing my presentation on schools and delinquency. So I chose this topic because I believe schools have a major influence on kids' lives. I think administration has the ability to mold a child's thinking from a young age, so we might as well make the most of this and try our hardest to give them all the useful information possible in order to live great lives. Um, Also, my high school experience had a huge impact on my life. I had teachers who cared about my education and my life outside of the school walls, and that definitely made my high school experience a lot better for me, having those teachers that really cared. And today I'm going to be connecting this to the bonding theory. Um, I truly believe that when a student is involved at their school and in community, it betters their life through discipline and mannerism, and also empathy for other people. This is related to juvenile delinquency because studies show that kids that are more involved are less likely to commit crimes and to get into trouble. As far as collecting data, I would interview students with some incentive behind that, whether that's a grade or doing well in another class. But I think uh, doing some sort of anonymous questionnaire is good to ensure students answer honestly and thoroughly. We want to make sure we get students that are both involved in school and not involved in school, that have good grades, bad grades, and we also want to do a mental and physical health check-in. I would also interview teachers and administration on how they think students are doing. I think getting multiple perspectives on this would really help um, determine different rates and how students are doing. For trends, I was interested in how COVID-19 affected schools and juvenile delinquency. I got my research from the Bureau of Justice Statistics, and one quote that I found from a study was changes to school procedures related to COVID-19 pandemic coincided with the decrease of more than 60% in the victimization rate at school from 2019 to 2020. I had mixed opinions on this because, on one hand, it makes sense that delinquency would decrease due to COVID, but on the other hand, interactions decrease significantly, which I would think would lead to um, less community ties, which uh, increases delinquency. So I was kind of iffy on this, but I think it made sense overall. And I was also looking at gender. So male and female had a surprisingly similar rate, where males were at 14 victimizations per 1,000 students and females were at 16 per 1,000 students. I don't know if I was expecting a bigger difference between those two, but I was kind of surprised that they were almost exactly the same. So those are the two trends that I was looking at. And as far as stopping these trends, certainly we do not want to stop the decrease of juvenile delinquency in schools. So, in order to keep this decreasing trend ongoing, I would implement more life strategy classes into schools. Students attend school for 6 hours a day, so one of those hours definitely should be dedicated to a class about how to go through life, how to treat others, and how to set and achieve life goals. I think that would really be effective and beneficial to students and give them perspective that they may not be getting at home necessarily. And then tying back into the administration, they definitely have the ability to invite speakers and courses into the school that will benefit students greatly, rather than just normal day-to-day classes. This chart shows how in some categories numbers have not decreased. This either means that the data was misreported or has contradicting results. This is why it's always important to read from multiple sources to conclude results like this, because this was from the same study, which again is kind of contradicting, but like I said, it's important to get multiple perspectives on this. And lastly, class, why should you care? Well, obviously, the children now are going to be adults in the future. The kids of our own deserve to have the best school experience they can, and juvenile delinquency will only lead to adult delinquency later on in life. So I say nip it in the bud now with being a younger person in school. I think, like I said, implementing these programs would be really good because a lot of the students that are involved in delinquency may not have those parental figures in their life to teach them right from wrong. So I think it falls a little bit more on the schools because they do have the power to change students' lives and perspectives and their goals and everything they do in life. So that's why you should care because it's our future. I mean, it's who we're going to work with, it's who our kids are going to be around. So I definitely think everybody should be caring about this. And thank you for listening. I also have my citations on this last slide. But thank you for listening to my presentation.